overreacted, right? Maybe it was something else going on. Will was stressed out or had some pressure on him, or I don't know what it was.
Ain't no maybe to it. That was a lot of aggression.
But it was a lot of aggression. Like it was like it was like, oh, how do you go there so fast? Like, and that's your response to it. So yeah, my opinion is it was uncalled for. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I know, like I say, the country is divided. They got surveys going on, people thinking that it was appropriate, he was defending his wife. Other people saying, hell no, it wasn't. So it's like, at the end of the day, are we telling ourselves that it's okay to go from a joke, a comedic joke or a comedic act or a presentation to violence just like that, just because it's something that you feel is offensive? You know what I'm saying? Or your wife or whoever you're with is offended by it. If that's the case, then I pray for these comedians, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's all they do for the most part. And I don't think they go out to, offend people and be malice about it. It's just part of what they do. It's always been a part of what they do. And so I don't get it, So everybody that's, like I said, if it boils down to liking Will and, you don't like Chris Rock, then you're going to be, you're going to be on Will's side and you're going to see it okay as you see it. You talking about Tiffany Haddish?
There we go. To be specific, yes. Tiffany Haddish made a comment in regards to her feeling like, hey, he didn't do anything wrong. He was supporting his wife, defending her honor.
Well, what I know from experience is that, I've experienced it personally, and I've witnessed it plenty of times where you can be in a situation, or women can be in a situation and get their men in situations. Just men in their lives, in situations where things go wrong. They say somebody's doing something to them, and somebody, you go and defend their honor or try to defend them in some form or fashion and end up, like you say, in jail or dead, or even worse, dead. So,
I just think I find it very problematic, for my sisters out there, and I'm going to be very specific, and not just women in general. I'm talking about black sisters. I get it that you want to be defended, and we should defend our women. We should. I just think that we should not be promoting violence. The reality of it is a lot of women, I've heard it, say that there aren't enough good men. And if we are, because we naturally, for the most part, not that women can't be logical, because they are, right? But men tend to, firstly, is how we think. We think to process information differently. Let's just say we're different, right? Without getting into all the specifics. And for the sisters who have a black man and you know that his short fuse, the last thing that you need is him in prison. The last thing you need is for him to die over foolishness, over a senseless death because he was thinking emotional, and then you cheering him on. You're no benefit to him. You're no benefit to him if you support that. There is a time and a place to defend a woman's honor. When you're at a comedy show and you sit in the front row, and yes, this is the Oscars, but I'm saying they use comedians in order to break the ice, in order to show humility, to show that these people are regular people, right? And so they use comedians to break the ice. So you know that you may be the pit of the joke. And again, if he had carried on and he continued and he harped on it and he had more severe jokes perhaps, or he touched on their personal life a little more, then I would understand why you'd be upset and you need to pull him to the side and have that conversation with him. And then if it got heated there, then I'd understand. But I cannot understand why you would do that on national TV, embarrass that man and his family, and assault him all in the name of honor, only to come back and apologize because ultimately you were just thinking irrational and emotional, and it didn't help anything.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. There are consequences for for our actions, right? So, and succumbing to our emotions, and that is one example of it. Unfortunately, it was played out, in front of the world for the world to see. But like I said, it happens all the time in our neighborhood, and within our families, man, and in our streets. And it's so easy for us to get ourselves in these situations. And like you said, if you're with somebody, why they end up dead or in jail, you can stop a lot of crap from going on by not egging it on, and just staying out of certain situations. Like I say, it's I don't want to actually say that this has anything to do with that, like Jada did anything wrong in that moment, because she didn't. Right? She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't appreciate the joke.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with it. She didn't appreciate the joke. But I'm talking more or less what goes on in our neighborhoods, our families most of the time. Like I say, we put ourselves in situations where our loved ones can get hurt or, end up in deep trouble. So we need women to think about it, think about these situations a little bit more. And we need men to stand up and think about how they protect their women.
Right. And I don't know if it's the historic element of it or if it's if it's the movies. I don't know what it is that has, somehow ingrained in our mind that the only way to protect a woman's honor is through violence. And maybe because we get caught up in the fairy tales, we get caught up in these movies and how they, they defend their honor and they go to battle or, they wild, wild west. I don't know what it is, but there is many ways to defend the honor of your woman. And considering that the prison rate is mainly populated by us, I think white males only make up like 29% of the population. Hispanics like 24%, and we at 30-something% of the prison population because we can't control our emotions. So one of the things I think about is Terry Crews. Terry Crews was groped. Bro, come on now, man. Another man grabbing your junk in public because he's drunk or high or whatever he is, or he just thought he can get it off. And we criticize Terry Crews, but I had nothing but the utmost respect for him. I don't share his disposition, but I wish I did. I don't want to be groped, but I'm saying that the fact that, and he also had a woman who calmed him down. And that's what he said. His wife told him, no, don't do that. Because we all know that brother probably could have hurt whoever that man was that grabbed him in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? We can be aggressive and violent. And it was a woman who knew better, who told him, no, you don't do that. You don't let them see you be the animal that they think that we are. So for the women out there, black women specifically, that's who I'm talking about, because this is a black man assaulting another black man with a black woman. She didn't encourage this. I'm saying those who are online who are talking about it are taking the position that this is a good thing because this is the only way to honor him. And I'm saying you are doing a disservice to that black man. You are doing a disservice. I've been in situations like that where I was egged on by that woman to do this and do that. And I'm saying it's not helpful for anybody. If I'm not in the home to help take care of my family, if I'm not there to share in the task and the responsibility, all in the name of protecting your honor. When the reality is that I could have pulled him to the side afterwards, or as you pointed out earlier, instead of doing all that hollering or whatever and cursing after he had slapped him, then he could have hollered and cursed at him before. And then we'd be having a different conversation. Then it could have just been, keep my wife's name out your mouth. And then that could have been the precursor. That could have been the warning to him. It still would have been shots fired. So you know I'm not playing with you. Don't mention my wife's name again. And you could have left it at that. And we'd be having a different conversation. So I really wish for the women out there, black women who are encouraging this, who thinks that that is honorable. I'm saying that if it were anybody else, he would have been in jail. But because of his power and his status, it's the only reason that he wasn't hauled off to jail. Myself or any one of you out there would have been in jail if that would have happened. Black men are saying it, and I'm not, and I said that in the beginning. There are some men too who are saying this. But what I'm concerned with black women is because we're not naturally moved by men. We're talking about protecting the honor of a woman. So that's why it is important to me to point out that black women should not be encouraging this. Black men, yes, they can say what they want to say, but I'm saying you should not have a woman who is encouraging you to violence, because you can say all day, you know, if I look over and you and I go to a comedy club and somebody talking about you, I'm not going to get up and fight them or slap them because they talking about you. But we more apt to do that if it's a woman.
But men need to know how to honor his woman without violence at the same time.
I know, but that's what I'm talking about. That's essentially what I'm talking about, is that there's other ways to honor them. I'm not touching on the men because, you know, yes, there's other ways, and we could talk about that now. But I'm saying, I'm pointing out that because we are doing this in the name of a woman, not the name of a man. So it doesn't matter. Yes, other men will suggest that he was right in his response, but again, that's not going to motivate me to go out and inflict violence against another man. But my woman who is offended, I'm more likely to do that. And I'm saying there's a place and a time for it, and I just don't think that that was the place and the time for it. So since you brought that up, how do you think men need to handle this for those men who believe that this was the right thing to do?
Yeah, like I pointed out earlier today offline, is that I think, you know, all the energy that he had after he slapped him, you know, he was really vocal. He should have had that. He should have did that first. Like I say, he should have gave him a warning, because at the end of the day, it's like I said, he didn't seem to be doing this in malice. It wasn't a malice joke. It wasn't like, I'm coming for your wife because I hate her, right? I just can't stand her. Right? I can't stand you or her, right? So it's kind of like, and then you got to consider that Chris Rock said that they were friends, right? They had to have some type of relationship prior to this. So, so a warning would have been enough, I think, and it could have just been resolved at that moment. So, I would say for men, period, it's the same thing. Like I said, I tell my kids all the time. It's like when you're in school and somebody's bullying you, right? You warn them, or you tell your teachers first. My kids like, well, but I don't want to tell the teachers. They tell the teachers first. They have an obligation to protect you, right? Mm-hmm. And if it persists and it continues on, then you have to defend yourself. But you have to actually give the people who are there to protect you an opportunity to do so. That's what I tell my kids when they were in school. As an adult, right? Words, we already know that words can sting, but they don't penetrate. You know, they don't hurt the flesh. Right? They might hurt your pride, but they don't hurt your flesh. The only reason why you should be physical with somebody is to defend your life. Going from words to physical violence is just not. It's not something that I can condone, because I have daughters, I have sisters, you know, I have aunts, and you know, I have people in my family that I love and care for, that, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, and they're in a situation where somebody says something, or they say something to somebody, and they had, you know, violence was, you know, perpetrated on them, then this whole thing will be turned around. Then they'll be screaming, oh man, he didn't have to do that.